So Yahoo, ESPN, these sites that you're drafting your fantasy football on, they do not update their ADPs or their expert rankings fast enough to kind of go along with the new news and the new ADPs as they evolve in the drafting season. That's why I'm bringing you today from the Fantasy Pros. We're taking a look at the real-time ADP changes. We're going to specifically look at the one right here, the 7-day. But there is also 24-hour here and stuff like that. But we're going to take a look at the biggest risers in ADP here on their site and kind of explain it or talk about why exactly these people are moving up so many picks and so fast here just over the last 7 days. Don't forget, like and subscribe if the video helps you out. And if you like the content, I'm just some little guy new to the game. So, hey, help me out if you hit that subscribe button. So the very first one we're going to take a look at, not at the top here. You notice there's not a lot of movement because when you're at the top, there's only so far you can really move him, all right? But we're going to scroll down to pick 47. First off, right off the bat, TreVeyon Henderson. Now, the higher you are, the smaller the amount of jump is going to be capable of or is going to be. But 4 picks up here for TreVeyon Henderson after he was already going in like the 8th or 9th round way earlier in the season is pretty crazy. And why exactly is that? Well, TreVeyon Henderson is, I don't know if he's going to be fully 100% workhorse there for New England Patriots, but man, he has came out absolutely electric in preseason. He had a couple of kick returns. I think one was a touchdown, another one was like a 70-yard kick return or something. And while we're wanting him to be running back, this is just showing how explosive, how quick he is. And you can see all that over here with his measurables coming out of college, 92, 81, 91 for the 40 speed score and burst score. So he is incredibly quick, and they have not really liked what they've seen from the other running backs in New England. We're talking about Ramondre Stevenson, fumbling issues here and there. I believe they still have Antonio Gibson. So what? He's just kind of a throwaway player. You're going to notice a trend here too on this list, and maybe I'll spoil it for you a little bit. A lot of rookies. So what I sense this lifting of the ADP kind of more recently here is people coming back, kind of learning about the fantasy football, learning about the running backs, more of the casual people, not the people that watch the NFL draft, have been drafting best ball since before the NFL draft even, but this is the casual people coming back going, oh, wait a second, this TreVeyon Henderson guy sounds like he's going to be pretty good. Maybe I should go ahead and get him. So that's kind of the biggest reason for this rise, but I don't blame anybody. He looks pretty dang good. He's coming into a situation with a young and upcoming quarterback, a team that could be better than they were last year. So TreVeyon Henderson coming up 4 spots. I like it. I like it. Keep an eye on him. Great player right there. So we're moving down to number 54 here, and it's another person that's not even quite 4. We're looking at Xavier Worthy, and even over the last couple of days, it's moved up almost a couple picks. And there is an important reason for why Xavier Worthy moved up like that. First of all, this is his second year. Look at him coming out of college. I don't know why the speed score, it doesn't have the percentile. 4.21. I think they broke it actually, because that is it. How can you be that fast? That is insane. But the speed score, burst score right here, excuse me, is a 96 percentile, 91st on the catch radius too. This is like first. They literally, I think he broke it. He is so fast. He is so crazy fast. And what's kind of important to note here too, he did finish wide receiver 40. Doesn't really sound that impressive, but until you go back and look at what exactly he did on the game logs for last season, it wasn't crazy. He did start off with 20 points right off the bat week 1, but it's like 60, 76, 23, 30. Didn't really seem like he did a whole lot. Oh boy, look at later in the season though. Once you get into the playoffs or later, it's wide receiver 16, 11, 15. I think he sat out that week, or it looks like he got 1 target or something because it must have been a meaningless game. Then into the playoffs, wide receiver 12, wide receiver 1 with 35 points. So they trust this guy going down the stretch. There is also something else important to note, which the news and notes on this particular site don't have. But Rashee Rice, the other guy on the team, the other receiver, got hit with a 6-game suspension. So he is a great pick, a great person to have on your team. It seemed like they started to really trust him even more towards the end of the season. Super quick, not the same player, but kind of like maybe replaced a super fast Tyreek Hill type of situation. So that is why Xavier Worthy, moving up 3.5, and he's probably going to keep moving after this whole suspension and stuff. So he's another guy, second year, another young guy. Part of that too is probably people coming back to fantasy football, like, oh, who's this guy? I kind of forgot about that guy. Okay, yeah, I hear what's going on. Next up, we're looking at number 58 here. We're looking at Tetairoa McMillan. Now, here's another guy just like the first one, rookie guy. So people are probably coming back. Wait, who's this Tet guy? Why is he moving up? Oh, wait, he's the number 1 for an NFL team. Let's go ahead and push him up. Now, these don't really tell the whole story over here. His measurables coming out of college. He was a incredible prospect. So he's pretty much going into a situation where they just got rid of Adam Thielen. Big whoop, but it is something to note, I guess. They were comfortable enough with their wide receivers and more specifically their number one to just go ahead and we'll just toss this old veteran who's smart, whatever. But we'll just toss him aside because we don't need these other wide receivers. We got the big dog, Tedero McMillan. Another guy I just absolutely love. It's hard to say how much people in your league are going to reach up to grab these exciting rookies or if they want more of the safety. You're going to have to look at your own leagues. But I do like Tet McMillan in this area here too. It's not too bad of a spot. So as we're going past Tedero McMillan, we're moving down to number 68 here. And this is one that I'm kind of surprised. Bo Nix shooting up almost 10 spots here to 68. That kind of shocked me. I'm going to be perfectly honest. There's no other quarterbacks in this range, but he's going right behind here is Patrick Mahomes, and then it's Bo Nix, and then who's the next quarterback down here? Baker Mayfield. So Bo Nix is actually going, 78 to 68, 10 picks before Baker Mayfield, which is kind of shocking, but there's a reason why, but I'm kind of surprised that he's kind of moved up just so quick. I haven't heard any crazy news really coming out of Denver that would change anything from what he was before. The thing that everyone likes about him so much, and this kind of happened more towards the beginning of the season is what I remember, but 430 yards rushing and a few rushing touchdowns. He was quarterback 8 last year. You can kind of see over here at 19 points, but people are suspecting maybe he's going to come out a little bit hotter, a little bit quicker. Wish this was dark mode like the last one was, but you can see he started off 16, 27, 13 over here, 30. Then he came into some real good games here, 8, 9. He had a quarterback 2 here, 4, 7. So number 2 and 9 towards the end there, that would have been the playoff game, I suppose, right? So he really pretty solid season there, but the rushing yards here, it gives you that solid floor. Some of these 75-yard games, 36-yard games, and then he came in hot at the end of the season too here again with 40, 40, 30, 30. So that's what people really value, that kind of like safe floor with a rushing quarterback. Then you could always not accidentally, but rush some in too. So yeah, I do love Bo Nix. I really hope we get him on my team, but I hope my league mates aren't seeing this right here because I really want him on my team, but I do not want to have to draft him any higher than I absolutely have to. So like I said, I don't really know the news at why he would be exploding up right there, but that's what's going down. They traded Vele, I suppose, but that's about all I got in the back of my head here. Let's look at pick number 76, another guy moving up, and this is kind of along the same trend as stuff we were talking about before, Emeka Egbuka. So if you're kind of new to fantasy football, maybe you don't know that name, but he got drafted by Tampa Bay. Now, in Tampa Bay, there are some major injuries going on, so it's understandable why he's moving up. Also, being a rookie, the casuals coming back, hearing his name for the first time, learning, oh, maybe I do want to take these exciting rookies. Let's take them. Maybe the next Justin Jefferson or something like that. But with Godwin getting hurt, is he supposed to be back? When? Who knows? His ankle is like a balloon on one side and normal sized on the other. Also with the other wide receiver there, I forget his name, but he got a really severe neck injury, and they expect him minimum to be out half of the season. And you see the ADPs, that's like redraft. Here they have the underdog ADP. He actually shot up 20 picks. I don't know what time frame that is over, but he shot up even more on underdog. And underdog, probably a little bit more of the people that are kind of like, call them sharp drafters, the ones that pay attention the most because they're, putting money on the line, doing draft after draft after draft after draft. Also, they do prefer receivers and upside. So that could be a reason why that is too. But Emeka Egbuka has a great opportunity because it's going to be Mike Evans. And then at the beginning of the season, Emeka Egbuka. He's going to be number 2. Baker Mayfield's going to be slinging 2. And Mayfield had something like, was it 40-something touchdown passes last year? Another guy I want, man, I want all these guys, but these rookies are really getting juiced up in the ADPs. So it's going to be tough to get, you're going to get them, you have to pay up higher than you really would like to. But it is what it is, I suppose. Another one jumping up here, which confuses me also, Tucker Kraft. Very strange. He jumped up over 12 picks in ADP right here. Tucker Kraft. Why is this? I think Jaden Reed just took off his walking boot. He should be back and fine. I know Christian Watson's out. They drafted a wide receiver in Golden. I don't know. Why is Tucker Kraft exploding up the board? He wasn't bad. Not bad last year at all. Tight end 17 had a couple ones in a row here. But remember, there was all the receivers getting hurt last year. That's why he had a couple of those. He did have a wide receiver 4 here in the playoffs. Here's an 8. hardly any tight end one finishes literally at all. He had a few touchdowns. This two touchdown game is what'll do it for you, but a few random touchdowns. I'm not really seeing why he's shooting up so much. Maybe let me know down in the comments. What is the new news on Tucker Kraft to make him just explode up over 12 picks here? Can't figure out what it is, but we're bringing that to you right now. And it just, unfortunately, I just can't think of what possibly it would happen, especially with some of the wide receivers getting healthy, them drafting another receiver. Not really sure. So we'll move on to the very next one, though. After Tucker Kraft, we're moving on to number 87 pick here. I had Dak Prescott up almost 10 picks. This falls into another one. Don't exactly know why. Maybe the casuals are coming back. They know they got CeeDee Lamb there. Oh, they got Pickens. Now they got CeeDee and Pickens. Dak Prescott's got to be doing even better then, right? Ferguson's still there doing good. They have like no run game. They're going to be losing Parsons maybe on defense, so their defense is getting worse. So maybe they'll have to throw even more because they're going to be behind. So that's kind of the rationale, the best I can come up with anyways, for why Dak Prescott is shooting up 10 picks here in ADP. I mean, he's an all right quarterback for where he's going. I guess it's fine. I'd have to compare him to the other quarterbacks. He's just behind Brock Purdy. Had a Kyler. I guess I'm fine with that. So it looks like between the range of the quarterbacks, that's about where I'd put him. But interesting that he just shot up over the last week there. So here at level pick 91, another guy going up 10 picks in Tyler Warren. And this one makes way more sense. First of all, once again, the excuse, rookies, the casuals are coming in, finally learning who these rookies are just before they're drafting, going, oh man, I want the upside of these rookies. Is Tyler Warren the next Brock Bowers? Well, the thing is y'all might be right. Tyler Warren seems like an amazing prospect. Look at this, the speed score here at 86 percentile. That's fine, but they're talking about using him kind of all over the formation. They're talking about giving him even carries and stuff, almost like a Taysom Hill type of role. Maybe not quite as wild as that, but they in some of the training camp and stuff, they're talking about giving him handoffs, kind of targeting him all over the field. So Tyler Warren, I can't promise you anything because the team's not going to be good. They got Daniel Jones going. They actually benched Anthony Richardson. If things go off the rails, they might put him back in. He starts running more. He can't throw very good. He's not very accurate. And they'll put him back in there just to kind of maybe showcase him, maybe give him one last chance. Maybe, like I said, showcase him to try to trade him. But Tyler Warren is pretty exciting, but it's also pretty risky. So you don't know if he's one of those complete bust tight ends that come out as a huge prospect that everyone thinks is going to be great, or if he's the next Brock Bowers. Usually they're not Brock Bowers, but eventually somebody is Brock Bowers like Brock Bowers is. So now we'll jump over to the next one after Tyler Warren here at pick 92, Matthew Golden. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Didn't really understand, he's at the very next pick here, why Tucker Kraft was going up. For some reason, a lot of these Green Bay Packers apparently going up because Matthew Golden is also going up 8 picks. Thing once again, he's an exciting rookie. Like I said, the casuals coming back, just learning about him. Ooh, exciting. Let's draft him. I do agree with him, being a good pick. So I don't blame them at all, actually. Now, he's the first wide receiver, I think it was in the last 23 years or 28 years, whatever the number was, for the Green Bay Packers to take in the first round. I do not believe they're going to be taking him in the first round to not go ahead and use him in the preseason. He had played like a ton, almost exclusively, I believe, with the first team offense. The thing is, too, is that Jaden Reed was in that walking boot. But even last year when there was nothing wrong with him, literally Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Doubs were playing in like 2 wide receiver sets, and Jaden Reed was sitting off to the side. So I'm not touching Jaden Reed almost anywhere. But Matthew Golden, you don't invest a first round pick for the first time in a bazillion years to not go ahead and use your number 1 wide receiver. You see the speed score over here, 91st percentile, 4.29. Apparently, if you run under a 4.3, they just go, okay, you're just too fast to even give you a percentile, I guess. So he's mega quick, mega fast, and a great prospect. I want on my team, I'll tell you that much. He was so far down before. He was literally like down here. He was like next to Christian Kirk at one point. So he's definitely moved up. I don't know how. It must have been a glitch in the system or something. I could not imagine why he was down so far there. Tyler Warren, Matthew Golden. We'll move down to the next one here. And these ones are shocking races right here. The first one, 98, Braylon Allen, 34 picks. He's the biggest jumper on this particular one right here. And that is wild. In the last 7 days, he jumped up 34 picks. Now, why is Braylon Allen? I believe this is his second year. Yeah, last year, the RB55. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Everybody would love the RB55 on their team, am I right? Well, the main thing is why he's jumping up is it apparently the Jets are mega souring on the starting running back, which is Breece Hall. Had to pull that one out of the back of my mind real quick. But they're essentially talking about splitting carries with Braylon Allen. And who knows, if you're souring this much on a running back, maybe he's even going to get like maybe not fully benched, but maybe it's going to actually swap to like 80-20 the other way. And Braylon Allen ends up being the guy. Man, 6'1", 235, a big dude here. Who knows? Even Breece Hall might even get traded or something. But if they're souring this much, all these rumors, everybody is hearing this, they are reading it, and they are juicing up Braylon Allen. This is kind of late. And when you look at around that area too, there's another guy we're going to talk about just next. But you got Javonte Williams here, who we think is going to start for Dallas. We're not really sure. I mean, really, I'd probably take Williams over Allen, but unless there's some new news that I'm missing here. J.K. Dobbins, I think I'd might even rather take Allen because they drafted a rookie. Zach Charbonnet is like splitting carries, maybe a backup. Travis Etienne, not touching him with a 7 trillion foot pole. So yeah, I sort of agree with it, but there's a few people, maybe I'd mix these around a bit. I don't fully disagree with the Braylon Allen hype though. I'm kind of on board. It depends where you can get it. The next one at 99 here, Jacory Croskett Merritt. Well, anyways, JCM we'll go with. Way easier. Why is this guy going up? Especially since this is some guy, almost the last pick of the draft, almost Mr. Irrelevant running back for Washington. Yes. Now, pretty much what happened here is Brian Robinson Jr. just got traded, just got dumped for next to nothing. They sent him over to San Francisco to kind of back up Christian McCaffrey. Why would they do that? Well, they got Austin Eckler here in Washington. And then they seen this guy apparently in training camp and were very impressed. Now, they have a few other guys on the team, and it's not a surefire thing that Croskett Merritt is actually going to be just like the workhorse RB1 or even a 50-50 split. They might even go like a third with Croskett Merritt, with Eckler, and then one of the other guys is this guy Rodriguez that's way down there, who's been with the system for, I think he's been there, I think it's his 3rd year, so he knows the system, kind of like a veteran, essentially a known commodity. But hey, maybe they believe in this young guy too, and people are always hype about rookies coming in. And I mean, who doesn't like a good underdog story? I guess drafted 7th round. Part of the reason too is why he got drafted so late. If you look at the college stats, wait, he only played 1 game last year and he got drafted and now they're going to start him? Well, the thing is there was some crazy eligibility problem and he ended up being forced to miss the whole season. I can't really explain exactly why, if it was some paperwork, some transfer thing, because he went from Alabama State, New Mexico, Arizona, and there was some reason that he played 1 game and then they nailed him for some violation or something. But 13 carries and 100 yards just in his first game, and they're like, get out of here, which is pretty wild right there. Had a touchdown as well. But look at the season up here, 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns. Not a lot of receiving though, so he would just be the, I don't know, getting the carries apparently, unless maybe he catches better than his college team thought he did. But Jacory Croskett Merritt right there. Keep your eye on him. He is exploding up the ADPs. He was undrafted a couple of weeks ago till a Brian Thomas trade. So we do have one more down here, and we're dropping from 100 down to 162 actually. It's not a huge jump, and this is like last round of the draft. Maybe look at him. He may even be a starting running back week 1, and that is Ollie Gordon. Now, who is this guy? Well, another late round pick right here at the 6th round for the Miami Dolphins. Now, the normal backup actually hurt his ankle, I believe, Jalen Wright. So he's going to be out week 1, maybe even 2 and 3 and 4. Who knows exactly, but he's definitely out week 1. Now, there is the starter, Achane. He is also kind of dinged up and injured right now. They expect him back for week 1. They expect him. But Ollie Gordon has looked very good in preseason. His measurables really don't look all that impressive, but in the preseason, he looked way better than Jalen Wright at minimum. So I would say maybe Jalen Wright technically is the veteran, even though he's a very young guy. I believe this is his 2nd year as well. But Ollie Gordon might even be the 2nd guy. He just looked way better in preseason than Jalen Wright. And he might even, with Achane nicked up, he might even getting some noticeable carries, even if Achane is playing. I would feel like they don't want to ride Achane into the ground, but for like last round of the pick or of the draft, I mean, or maybe someone you just go ahead and keep an eye on the waiver wire after more news comes out. A good one to notice here. He's moving up 10 picks. We're talking about right there, Ollie Gordon. That's the last one I got for you. Don't forget, like button. If you made it this far, I mean, you must like the video, and subscribe up. We need to get some more subscriber here. Thank you so much for watching this long. Best of luck on crushing your league mates and crushing that fantasy football draft.